Hi, I'm Imani Walsh, and I want to thank Toy Burton and Dee Dee's Cry for the incredible work they do in the Boston community all year long. And I want to thank all of them for organizing this event today. Mental health is just as important as physical health, and seeking and accepting help is a sign of strength. That's especially true right now. The pandemic has added a whole new set of challenges to everyday life. For people who were struggling before, it can even be harder to manage this added weight. I'm here to tell you it's okay to feel fear and anxiety. We'll feel that for some time. This is an important time to take care of yourself. We're all handling this the best we can. And the only thing we can do is take one day at a time. If you need someone to talk to, you have options. You can call your healthcare provider to get set up with a telehealth counselor. Or you can call 311 at the city, our hotline, to get connected to anonymous counseling over the phone. I know that Dee Dee's Cry is going to share some important resources with you today. I want to thank the panelists for coming together and sharing their stories. In times like these, it's important to support one another and find ways to connect. I wish you all the very best, and I thank you for creating a positive change in our community.
Good afternoon, or actually good morning, everyone. My name is James Hills, and it's Toy here and sips out of her wonderful Dee Dee's Cry cup that Crystal nor I have yet. I'll just sip up a little red cup. But welcome to another, what is this, ladies, 6? Is this the 6th edition, 7th?
No, I think it's 4.
No, it ain't 4. I think it's
like
like
5.
5. Okay, so we're laying right at 5. But we're here with Toy of Dee Dee's Cry and also Miss Crystal. She's going to introduce herself in a second, but Toy is going to tell us about Dee Dee's Cry and why we're here today. And we're going to jump right into our session today, where Miss Crystal is going to give us some tips and tricks how to support our children, both socially and emotionally. So Toy, it's over to you at this time.
Thank you so much, James. Good morning, everyone. My name is Toy Burton, and I am the founder and executive director of Dee Dee's Cry, Suicide Prevention and Family Support. Dee Dee's Cry is named after my sister, Danita Shane Morris, who died by suicide at the age of 23 in 1986. I started Dee Dee's Cry after I noticed that organizations that focus on suicide prevention and mental health education didn't have the events in the Roxbury, Dorchester, Mattapan neighborhoods of Boston. So I wanted to make sure that suicide prevention was accessible to communities of color, and that's how I started Dee Dee's Cry. And I just want to say thank you to the team of Dee Dee's Cry, because without them, they're just awesome. I love everyone, Robin, Brandy, Tania, James, Crystal, and just thank you for the awesome work that you're doing, and thank you for sharing your talents just to help the community at large. And we started this program, like we said, we don't even know how many weeks ago, but this is a 13-week program with Miss Crystal and Jimmy, and we are here to teach parents how to support their child's social and emotional growth and development. We want to be proactive when it comes to their mental health. We want to give them the right foundation, and the parents the educations to help that grow. So to you, Miss Crystal.
Good morning. This is week 5.
This is week 5, yes.
Yes, it is week 5. I have been an educator, an advocate for children and families, working with children with disabilities, doing resources into the community, and just really trying to be an advocate for social emotional health for families and children, because it takes a village to raise a child. Today's topic is going to be adjusting to co-parenting and how to create a smooth transition for the child. Now, I do want to note, I am not a family counselor or a therapist. This comes from an educator's perspective, where I'm hoping to give you some tips and my opinion on what I see as a educator in the field, not necessarily a teacher, but I was a teacher for 15 years, but just how I see my families and my children struggling in co-parenting situations. So, of course, as I think I say in every week, the most important thing you can do for your child's growth and development and social emotional stability is to have conversations on a multitude of topics. I think every week I always bring it back to that. Have a conversation, talk to your children, tailor your conversation to their needs so that the point can be understood. But talking to your children is the most important thing. So having the conversation with your child regarding your co-parenting style or the situation. Talk to them about the changes that may take place. You know, whether it's you're going to go and see dad on Fridays, you're going to go see mom on Monday through Friday, or mom on the weekends, or whatever the situation may be. You want to communicate with the child so the child has expectations. And it's not, you know, whether it's a situation that changed randomly or if it's a situation that was like that from the beginning, and you already have it in place, you still want to have that conversation so they understand what's happening, when it's going to happen, and they can learn to adjust to it.
Ms. Crystal, can I ask, based on what you've been teaching us the last few weeks, this is one of those points where you will also be able to hear from the child how this transition and how the co-parenting is impacting them. So you may get some feedback from the child. So they should be prepared for that as well, correct?
Good point. Good
Yep.
point. Yes, you do. I mean, I know, I think a couple of weeks ago, we kind of shocked a couple of people with the little video, and the little girl had her whole opinion about the COVID situation. And I mean, she articulated herself so well and how she felt about it. So yes, children do have an opinion. Whether it's a 4-year-old, a 9-year-old, or 16-year-old, we know they have an opinion. But even your 3 and 4-year-olds deserve some form of an understanding, some form of a conversation. You may get a response of, why? Why am I only seeing daddy or mommy on the weekend? And that could just be because daddy lives in one place, mommy lives in another place, and you know, you got the best of 2 homes and 2 holidays and, you know, 2 different rooms and beds and toys, and you bring light of it, make it sound like an enchanted situation so that they don't feel getting the short end of the stick.
Right. And you're not saying this, but I'll just throw in, don't let your frustration protrude through your conversation with them.
Absolutely. And I know this can be a hard situation sometimes because, you know, again, you're learning, you're new, it's a different situation. 9 times out of 10, it's not what you expected. However, you want to minimize conversation with the other parent if it's not conducive, and keep it positive about the child. Like, you don't want to have your child listening to you, getting in your feelings while having a conversation about why Friday is good or why Friday isn't good and how come you didn't and why not. Not all conversations are vulgar and disrespectful, but just having that argument in general, you kind of want to keep that to a minimum. So the child is just seeing happy, positive interactions. Well, the child's already adjusting to the parents not being together or their parent life looking different from maybe that of their peers. So we want to keep it as positive as possible, and let's not add any more confusion and concern.
Absolutely.
So keep it positive. Remember how you feel about the parent or the situation is typically only your viewpoint, not the child's. So I hear parents, when I was teaching, I'd hear parents come into the classroom and, and she just can't do that. And she doesn't do this. And he never this and he never that. And then later on, the child's like, I'm going to see my mommy or my daddy on Friday. And they're just so happy and bubbly and positive about it. They're not viewing and hearing all that negativity, So be mindful, and I know it can be hard, that your feelings and your emotions about the situation is typically only your feelings and your emotions. It doesn't mean that's the child's feelings. Young children only know what they see, hear, and what they are taught. And I think that's as self-explanatory as it can get, correct?
Especially based on the last couple of comments. Yep.
So what you expose them to is what they're going to receive, and then they're going to respond to that. So what you put in is what you're going to get out. So if you're putting in negativity and not positive experiences, you may very well get a negative response and anger from your child, disrespect from your kid, because they don't understand what's going on, but they do feel the chaos and the negativity.
And they see the model in some not so positive situations. They also glean from the modeled behavior they see in front of them. If they see you get frazzled and you demonstrate it when they don't understand what's going on and why not Friday instead of Saturday, you're frustrated. So sorry.
Exactly. I mean, and you know, especially on the younger kids, you'll see them acted out in dramatic play area, talking to their other friends and da 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 da. And as a teacher, we're looking like, interesting.
Because
I love it when you have these epiphany moments.
This is supposed to be for the community, but I'm sitting here, but hopefully other folks are sitting and having these epiphany moments as well, because you all automatically as professionals, presumably that sort of behavior is not, you're not born with that aggression or whatever. That is learned and observed, then practice. Wow.
Yeah. So when they see, you see mommy washing dishes, they go to school in housekeeping and they wash dishes. Or if they see daddy doing construction and working on cars,
or vice versa.
Or mommy doing construction and working on cars, or daddy's cooking in the kitchen. Yes, absolutely. You see them model that. Or if the parent comes in and they're trying to tell the teacher everything that happened on the weekend, then you see the kid in dramatic play area playing daddy or mommy to the other kid, and you're like, okay. And you understand because the mother or the father has communicated it to you. So you can see what they're acting out. And it's very interesting how they output what comes in.
Whew, by the time it's over, I need a certificate, Jesus, from Dee Dee's Cry. I feel like, I'm a new uncle.
Yeah.
All right, Miss Crystal, I don't want to hold folks up.
No worries. And the older they get, the more they understand and can be affected by the situation and how the parents handle it, as we just said. Things to consider when the child is with the other parent. It can be a struggle when you, as the primary parent, whether that be the father or the mother, has the child maybe majority of the time, and you have certain ways you like to do things and how you handle things, and what should happen in bedtime and scheduling routines and things like that. And then the child is now going with the other parent for the weekend or for the week. Maybe you have it 50-50. That'd be great. And that parent does it differently. Rules and regulations and things like that don't happen. So let's be mindful of that. We can't control, but you can collaborate. If it is a situation where you can speak and talk and be civil, have that conversation and try to make sure that both households are as similar as possible. But you can't control the whole situation. So if it doesn't look exactly how your household looks, sorry, but that's okay. You just might have to work a little harder, figure out what's going on at that house and try to tailor it to your house and do your best. But let's try not to make that a big deal or big issue because the other household isn't operating like your household is, because it's a different person, different family, different circumstances. So unless it's a dangerous or unhealthy situation for the child, believe that the other parent will do what is in the best interest of the child.
And that's the point I wanted to chime in on, because you're more than likely to get the byproduct of what you just mentioned if the child or children are kept at the forefront of that schedule. If y'all literally got to exchange an Excel sheet or a written thing, and this is what I do and whatnot, and as much as possible where y'all can put that on top of each other and see where it can be congruent. If the child's at the forefront, you might get more continuity between the co-parenting locations.
Yes. And I've had some parents tell me their experiences where sometimes you have to just say, hey, not being disrespectful, not trying to make it an argument. I just want to say this point, and I hope you can understand where I'm coming from. I need so-and-so to be in bed at this time so that we can keep the schedule for, when we get back to school and have dinner by this time, because he or she may wake up. Sometimes it's all about putting out initially what you're not intending to do and what you're intending to do. That way the parent can receive it versus you just initially responding.
Okay. Yep. That was good.
Thank you. Try to create a schedule, like we said, that works and allows the other parent to have the option, in capital letters, to pick up and drop off to school at minimum. I think it's important for the child to have the experience of both parents dropping off to school, picking up to school, talking to the teacher, and having that engagement. You want the child, to the best of your ability, because not every situation's that easy. And sometimes people struggle with the other parent not being as involved in the school situation because maybe they only pick up on the weekends. Well, maybe we need to give them Friday, Saturday, and Sunday so they can at least do it on Friday or at least do it on Monday. You get what I'm saying? So it's very important for both parents to have that experience in the child's school and to be involved, because it's important to the child to be able to say, this is my mommy and this is my daddy, and my daddy picks me up and drops me off, and so does my mommy. If you can get that to happen, that would be great. If you can't, that's okay. You see daddy on Friday. They will also be just as enthusiastic about that as well. It's all about how you present it.
Yep.
If possible, alternate holidays or split the days in half so that the child doesn't seem deprived. This allows the child to also create memories with both parents. Just like I said with school, same thing with the holidays. If you can you have Christmas or whatever holidays, Kwanzaa, that you may celebrate, or if you don't celebrate, then you don't have this problem. But if you do have holidays, you can alternate, or you can simply split the day in half. I'll do the morning, you can have the afternoon, that way the child is getting memories of both, they're having pictures with both families, and they're not feeling deprived. I just think it's important, if you can, to just try that.
And present it in a manner that, like, you're special because you get 2 Christmases and you get 2 birthdays and you get 2 Easter egg hunts and stuff like that. Okay.
And yes, it might be frustrating because you wanted to, open gifts or have Thanksgiving and then go to your mother's house, or, and now you got to split the day in half. But again, you want to go to your mother's house. You want Thanksgiving to look like this. And the child would love to have both their parents. So again, what you feel and what you want is not necessarily what the child feels and wants. Of course, the child would probably love to go see Nana. I bet you the child would probably want to go see daddy or mommy over that.
And we have to remember that 4-year-olds have opinions and thoughts too. Amen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Try to remain civil at all times so that the child can experience the parents being kind and at least respectful to one another. You don't have to be lovey-dovey. You don't have to do the exaggerated conversations, but a minimum respect and being civil allows that child to see that my parents, they got love. There's love. Remember, children are born to love their parents, and try to keep it that way. They're not born with anger. They're not born with hatred and, drama and chaos in their life. Like, again, it's what they see and hear and what they're exposed to. So try to keep it about love. They love you. You love them. They love the other parent, even though you might not love the other parent. They still do. Distance makes the heart grow fonder. So when you get mad for some parents or the other parent did something you didn't like, and now that parent can't see the child for X amount of time because you're trying to control the situation, it happens. I understand. That just makes the child want that parent even more. And I've had parents experience, this parent doesn't do this or that, doesn't buy, doesn't participate. And every time I turn around, my child just lights up like a light bulb and wants to be with this parent all the time and engage with this parent. And they love this parent so much. And that parent is never there, because distance makes the heart grow fonder. Remember, Your viewpoints about why you're not doing this, how come you haven't done this, is not the child's viewpoint. I can't stress that enough. The child is going to love their parents no matter what. Even when you have children who are abused, they still love their parents. Even when they're being hurt and abused, they still love their parents. So you can't impose your feelings on your child. You just can't. And the more time you put between that child and the other parent, the more of a void they have in their heart, and the more they're going to seek for that attention. And it may come out in other ways in their behavior because they miss their mom or their dad. So try to keep your feelings to yourself. Keep the child away from other parents. Keeping the child away from the other parent makes them want them more. As I said, try to keep your personal views and feelings of the other parent to yourself.
This is so important, and this is why Dee Dee's Cry believes that children should be the priority, their social and emotional development, not the and I'll say this is little James' personal opinion. Don't use the children as a pawn because you're going through issues. Because at the end, one of the things that has been so paramount to me is realizing in this space that I think I'm 50 years old and just started. I had my second therapy session on Friday. These sessions are in place to kind of go back. Maybe had these sessions been in place 45 years ago, and my mother was aware and allowed, because I was opinionated, allowed me to, so that's one of the things that's been paramount in this space, Miss Crystal, is really understanding that if we do this front proactive work now, not only does it help our young people be positive contributors to society, it helps their relationships. It can keep them from being dealing with issues of incarceration because they know how to express themselves and not keep things pinned up. And it's just, this is 6, 7, 5, 4, whatever week it is. It's been dope, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, absolutely right. You got to start from the ground up. Otherwise, like Toy's whole mission with the mental health and suicide, if you don't start it early, it can be very dysfunctional and chaotic later on.
Yep.
Wow. Final thought. Traumatic parenting can affect your child's mental health severely, allowing them to think it's my fault they're not happy or together. I wasn't good enough. Why me? My life sucks, etc. They start to internalize these feelings because 9 times out of 10, a conversation is not happening. So if you don't have a conversation with them, you're allowing these types of thoughts to manifest inside them. You don't know what they're thinking. So it's important to have the conversation. It's important to stay positive. It's important to make sure their experiences are enriching and powerful and positive, because you don't want these negative thoughts seeping into their mind, because now we're turning into a mental health concern. Now someone has to now intervene because a conversation didn't happen. Exposure to negative situations has happened. And now we just got a whole lot of negative input. And now this is the negative output that is very likely to come from it due to not putting the child at the forefront.
These, all of them have been good, but these last couple of weeks have been very eye-opening, and to the point where I think parents that are listening and will listen will need to do a level of self-examination around how much of a priority in a co-parenting situation are they demonstrating that the child is actually the priority, because it's pawn, and like, these children are not property. You can't like use them as they were like, and again, I don't want to get into personal opinion by observations through the years, but like you, not an educator, but in the work that I've done in servicing, teenage parents, light just went off. The reason a lot of the teenage parents have the issues that they have with their co-parenting is because of what they've seen. Potentially of what they've seen, how they were presumably co-parented and or single parented with another parent trying to And Toy's shaking her head because we know that within our Black and brown communities, it's an interesting dynamic. And any statements being made now are not judgment calls. We're just having a conversation based on the presentation. But our children have to be the priority. And I'll shut up, Ms. Crystal and Toy.
Yes, so I definitely love this topic, and it definitely needed to happen. Um, as a teacher, a preschool teacher, I see this firsthand. Parents who co-parent and trying to figure it out. So we have Miss Crystal here giving you suggestions, advice to try to make it easier and not say best for the child, but helping your child cope and deal with it. Because if you're having an emotionally bad time with the breakup or with the divorce or going to court, imagine what your child is going through. So talk to your child, explain to your child what is going on. Let them know that it's not their fault, because that's what children do. Everything, they internalize everything. Everything is about them. So if they see you crying or see you angry, they're going to think it's something that they did. So express to them, let them know that it's not their fault, and let them know on their level what is going on. Right?
That's Miss Crystal's point about the piece about, it's my fault. And Miss Crystal, go ahead.
No, you're absolutely right. And I want to stress tailoring it to their age. And I also want to stress that it's hard, because it's hard to control your own emotions. And now you have to control them with this little person sitting here watching you, and you're going through it and you're hurt. And how do you explain that to them without going into full detail? Your dad, your mom or your daddy did this, and this is why. And so you want to be able to just say, Mommy's sad, Daddy's sad, because I just want the best life for you. I want everything to be good. I love Daddy. I love Mommy. And, I just want them to be happy. Sometimes you just got to put a pretty bow on it. Put a pretty bow on it. Huh?
I get it. It's funny. And again, I'm learning. Thanks, Miss Crystal and Toy. I presume that if you put a pretty bow on it boldly, these young people, especially this generation, they understand a little bit more, I think, than what they give them credit for. Hence, their opinionated selves.
Yes.
So I love how you said pretty bold on it, but I would say also boldly, because you were basically telling them to keep it real. I'm sad.
Yes.
I still love Mommy. I love Daddy.
Yes.
Best for you. And they know that they're not, that y'all not in the same house. They know.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
And it's very important for you to explain what you're feeling to your child, so they know what it is when they're feeling it. So
it's model behavior.
Frustrated.
Yeah.
You're, angry, upset, depressed.
Yes.
Say those words. Give your child those words, so when they're feeling it and they can see how frustration looks, that when they are feeling that, because they're going to feel that they can name that. Like, Mommy, I'm frustrated. The teacher didn't call on me today.
Right.
Like, every day I raise my hand and they don't call on me, I feel frustrated, Yeah.
Labeling it along with the behavior.
Yeah.
So you want to say you're frustrated, and you can make that face and you can ball your fist, but you don't want to say Mommy's frustrated after you just got through saying every cuss word from A through Z and yelling and screaming, because now they're going to, I'm frustrated, and F-bomb and X-bomb and B-bomb and da-da-da-da. And the teacher's going to see it at school. And then it's like, interesting.
And when you're frustrated, and what you do after that, definitely teach your child those strategies. You know what? I'm frustrated. I'm going to meditate right now.
I'm going to take a walk.
I'm going to put on some gospel music right now.
Yeah. You want to dance?
Yes.
Y'all just hear this free therapeutic. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yes.
Tools and tips and tricks.
Yes. You want to teach them the behavior you want them to display. They don't know. They don't know. Anger to them, they might watch TV, and anger to them might be punching things or pushing down furniture. You want, because
that's what you were doing.
Yes, so you want to teach them when I'm angry. You want to teach them something else. Breathe in the flowers, blow out the candles. Take
Or
a
you're
deep
going to be
breath.
in the supermarket and his
Ex-
child's going to be knocking everything off the shelf because you was knocking everything off the dresser at home in the bedroom.
And y'all
Exactly.
can't go to them with that. Do is what is it? You can't do that. You got to do as I say, not as I do.
Not as I do.
Generation, they're practicing and mimicking everything that we're
Yes.
doing.
Absolutely.
This. Oh my goodness. I'm just. This is good. This is good. This is really, really good. Parents, if you're watching, I would suggest that you share this and tag parents that are dealing with this, because a lot of this is not only applicable to the co-parenting piece, but there's some good skills and coping mechanisms that can be applied to any situation. And that's one of the reasons why. And one of the things I want to highlight that came out of this, but we didn't name it, that if you're in a situation now like this and you're not, you might want to consider either individual and or family therapy. Dee Dee's Cry definitely moves in promoting mental health while Black, but it might be beneficial while you're trying to manage these co-parenting processes. You might want to think about an individual therapist, find a family therapist that does individual for you two, and then also does child therapy, because that one therapist gets all three perspectives and is able to hopefully, presumably, come back and pull the family unit together and have these, sort of sessions. So that's one
And
of the.
can I
Yeah.
tie in to the earlier weeks when we did early intervention? If you do have a child who is under the age of 3, not necessarily Boston Public Schools because they're strictly education, but you can have Home for Little Wanderers. You can do early intervention for those younger children, just for divorce, just for parent separation,
Yeah.
just for the parent no longer being in the home. Remember, we expressed environmental risk factors. So your environment has changed. The child's social and emotional, what they knew is now different. They have to deal with that. The environment is different. That qualifies for early intervention. That qualifies for a therapeutic response.
Interesting.
And don't think that because your child's 5, they're too young for
To go.
Yes.
Right.
No, they can't.
Yes. And that's why they have child psychologists.
Exactly.
They are
Absolutely.
specifically trained in clinical therapy for pediatric patients, understanding their frontal lobe development. Then, all right, y'all know I used to work with 2 psychiatrists, so I got a little bit of clinical experience. But
and you can reach out to the teacher. It doesn't mean you got to tell them all your business. Doesn't mean you have to let them know everything that's going on in your household, but it would be good to reach out. Maybe they can point you in the right direction, or like I said, advocate for yourself, advocate, initiate, and reach out for services on your own. Or reach out to Dee Dee's Cry.
I was getting ready to say, one of the services you can also reach out to as well is Dee Dee's Cry. And if you are interested in supporting what was shared here today with parents, tips and tricks from Ms. Crystal, please remember to support Black mental health. Make a donation to Dee Dee's Cry suicide, prevention and family support at deedescry.com. You see our staff there, Toy Burton, the founder, Dr. Brandy, myself, Robin Sanders. Also, oh Jesus, my eyes, Tamar, get me Toy later. Talia, and also Miss Crystal as well. But definitely, this is one of the things that Dee Dee's Cry promotes around mental health, wellness, and also child development is a part of mental health wellness. And we just have a couple of comments with someone saying right here that you're right. This can be applied to my situation, and the Higginson Inclusion School has amazing support. So it's awesome to see in real time that a parent chimes in and says that this is something that they have seen, that if they reach out, they get the support in the practice. So also don't be afraid, as Ms. Crystal said a couple of weeks ago, to reach out, and don't be afraid to be proactive, I guess, with that other co-parent, because the child has to. I usually don't say has to and should as much as possible, but in this case, unequivocally, the child should, has to, must be the priority.
Yes, definitely.
Educate, advocate, and initiate.
Advocate, educate, and initiate.
Yes. So definitely support Dee Dee's Cry. Go to our website. As you can see, all this stuff is free. We're not trying to get people's email address. You don't have to register to view our videos, you could go on Dee Dee's Cry's website to see the past sessions that we did with Miss Crystal and Jimmy. You could go on our YouTube page, Dee Dee's Cry, to see our past videos that we've have uploaded there. You can like us on Instagram, Dee Dee's Cry, DeeDeesCry. Yeah. And you can email me at deedescry@yahoo.com. DeeDeesCry@yahoo.com. Let us know how we're doing. If these videos are blessing you in any way, what you would like to see from Dee Dee's Cry, definitely support us. We appreciate your input, your thanks, and just let us know.
Absolutely. And we will definitely be back next week. Take a screenshot of this, invite some parents to come in the room, because you don't know what Miss Crystal is going to share. And so you might miss a good tip and trick that would really bless you real good, as Toy was saying. So we will be back next Saturday, March 27th at 11 a.m. And also Toy, if you all don't know, Toy is also the founder of Roxbury Unity Parade. So please come back, go follow Roxbury Unity Parade's page on Facebook. We're having the award ceremony this afternoon at 3 p.m. So please consider coming back. Separate page, but go now and follow Roxbury Unity Parade's page, and we'll be back at 3 p.m. With host Kerry Singleton and the awardees as well, Monica Cannon, Tina Sherry. Go ahead, Toy.
Food for the Soul,
Yep.
Our top sponsors, Eastern Bank and Tropical Food Market and Frugal Bank.
Frugal Bank.
I mean, Frugal Bookstore.
Frugal Bookstore, where they might be coming to banks. A Frugal Bank? I'm going to leave that right there. With that being said, thank you all so much for tuning in to Dee Dee's Cry, social and emotional. Y'all see Toy with that cup. She keep teasing me.
Yes,
Dee's
if
Cry,
you make a donation out of not the first 20, every 20 people who make a $10 donation or more will be put into a raffle to win a Dee Dee's Cry cup or other
merchandise.
Yes, thank you. I was going to say paraphernalia, merchandise.
That's my go-to word.
The younger children just call it merch.
Merch, yes.
Merch.
Did you?
So after every 20 people who make a donation of $10 or more, we would do a raffle drawing.
So definitely. And if you want to make the donation, last plug, you can go here, deedescry.com. And also you can mail it to the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute, but please be sure you put in the memo, Dee Dee's Cry. You can mail a tax deductible check there as well. That's it for us today for social and emotional support for children with Miss Crystal and Jimmy, sponsored by Dee Dee's Cry. We will be back next Saturday at 11 a.m. and we'll see you then. Have an awesome weekend and make it a great day. And remember to advocate, educate, initiate.
Yes.
I got it right?
Yes.
Y'all have a wonderful Saturday, everybody. Peace.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.